Hi all, Hipper here. Today we are leaving the cruisers behind and I'm taking out Yamato. And this time I'm using my Takagi build here, which is a concealment build and a range and damage build. So my inspirations are primarily, well, only concealment. So of course I have the new modification here, concealment system installed on the ship. So along with my inspirations, I get a pretty good concealment here of 12.4 kilometers. That's very low for a legendary battleship. And at the same time, I keep almost 20-kilometer range and about 26-second reload. So it's a good, like, all-round build, pretty much. I still think I prefer Kondo, though, with the faster reload and the many more heals. But this is a more traditional build that also works very nice. Now this is kind of a challenging map for battleships because of the fact that you really do need to push. Like, this map here is all about flanking. I mean, that's the only way you can win, is by flanking on this map. So that means if you are sitting back and you're reversing and you are like just pretty much betting on the other flank to make the push, of course you can still win, but it's kind of a flawed strategy. So you can see here, like, I'm not reversing or anything off the bat. I am going straight in and I'm finding a good spot here behind the island where I can keep pressure on the enemy and still be protected from torpedoes from destroyers, because I'm sure destroyers are coming and we have no cruiser on this side here. So that's why I'm going into this position here where I said I can put pressure on the enemy because I can still hit them, and I'm still relatively safe from destroyers, at least for the time being. So let's just talk about my philosophy on battleships here for a moment, and it's really pretty simple. And my philosophy is, and listen carefully because it's very, very complicated. No, I'm kidding. That's a little bit of a joke there. No, my philosophy is just that bigger is better, pretty much. And with that I mean guns. And that is really the reason that the primary battleship I play is Yamato, because it has the biggest guns in the game, or at least the most of them pointing forward. Because really that's all battleships are about, well, in a nutshell, I guess. That is point and shoot. And Yamato is the best point and shoot ship there is, so that's why I play it. Now, obviously the German battleships and other battleships with torpedoes are much more fun to play. So, I mean, Yamato is the most amusing traditional battleship in the game, I think. And again, that's why I play it. And I just like the big, huge guns that will just punish anything, pretty much. It doesn't really matter how you angle against this ship. You will take a beating. So here in this position here, destroyers will have to enter the open water in front of me to be able to torp me. And if they do that, I'm still bow on, so maybe they'll get one hit, at the very most 2 hits. And if I'm lucky, like in this instance here, I might actually get a shot at them. That doesn't mean I'll hit though. And honestly, in battleships, if you are bow on to a destroyer, then torpedoes are really not that much of a threat. You might take one on the bow or something like that, which I will demonstrate in a minute here. There's a lot of broadside going on all the way over here. I don't know what that guy's thinking, but we'll take full advantage of it. Or at least a little bit of advantage of it, because there wasn't a lot of damage on a full broadside at 10 kilometers, but with a full AP build. Interesting, but okay. So like you saw there before, I took one torpedo out of the whole bunch, and as long as you're bow on, yeah, I mean, I don't consider torpedoes much of a threat. Of course, it's a completely different story if a destroyer had like come around my back and had torpedoes at my broadside, well, then I would probably be dead, especially if it's a Shima. So I like to do a bit of aggressive plays here and get into positions like this. So right here is the critical moment. You can see we have 10 minutes left of the game, and if you look on the other flank, we are doing pretty poorly over there. There's one battleship left and he's hollering for help, and of course none of us can make it over there to help him at all. So that flank is gonna fall, and when that flank falls, it means the red ships on the right of the map have unimpeded access to our base and also our broadsides. So the thing now is someone will have to push forward, and ideally someone will have to go back and defend the base. And because I'm one of the front ships, I decide to go forward, and then I'm just gonna hope that someone on my team actually turns around to at least defend the base and to be able to reset anyone who makes it up there. And I am in luck. You can see the two battleships behind me. They have their wits about them and they decide to go back to the base. And that's perfect, because then we have two battleships pushing and two battleships going back to defend when the battleship on the right flank eventually gets sunk, which he will. Not because he's a bad player or anything like that, he's just unlucky. His flank was the weakest, and we need to prop it up. Now, if you notice this Yudachi player here, he is really good. He's doing a great job. He already disposed of two destroyers out on the flank, and playing the cruiser role there, basically in what is not really a gunboat destroyer, at least according to some people. I know Axel, if you know him, Black Priest, sometimes runs a gun build on that particular ship, but I haven't tried it myself. I don't really know if it works, but I'll put my trust in him and say that it works if you're a good player. But anyway, back to the Yudachi guy here. As you can see at the end of the game, he walks away with 4 kills, just short of a Kraken, unfortunately for him. But the way he plays this, smoking up and still spotting, and like not being afraid to be in the front, and of course shooting bunches of torps here, that is what you need from a destroyer player, and this guy is just doing an amazing job. So as you can plainly see, things are looking pretty bleak for us here. We are behind on points, and if the enemies decide to push up on the right flank, they will probably make it. And if they just leave one ship back down here to reset us while we're trying to cap, they could probably win this battle here. At this point, I am pretty convinced that we're going to lose. So that's why I make sure I start pushing in now, because we need to start capping, and we need to do it fast. So these are the things you need to look at when you're playing World of Warships in general. I mean, look at the minimap, like make good decisions based on the information you have at hand. And right now I'm just annoying this AFK Prince Eugen here, because there's not that much else to shoot at except for the Yamato that's now moving into my line of sight, so I'll just give him a little welcome shot here. So I got one lousy citadel out of that, and that is one of the reasons I prefer to run Kondo, because I usually play my battleships within 15 kilometers of the enemy. So there's really no point for me to have Takagi and the extra range he gives. He does give extra AP damage as well, but when you have a faster reload that Kondo gives you, which is about 20 seconds, that tends to even out damage very, very nicely. And we got a very nice 2 citadels there, so just waiting again for another reload, and then we're going to take this really strange like broadsiding Yamato out here. So in other words, if you want to play Yamato more from the mid-range, like I tend to do and I enjoy doing, then go for Kondo. If you want to play more like a sniper, then go for pretty much any of the other battleship commanders. Like I said, Kondo is good up close. Not up close, but like within 15 kilometers to 12 kilometers, he works really well. So of course, when you pop him on the ship and there was like a broadside Prince Eugen and we didn't get any citadels, it's just like this game has been very cheap on citadels for me. Although I have gotten 6, but I should have gotten at least double that. But anyway, so I actually upgraded both Takagi and Kondo, both to, I think, well, Kondo is fully upgraded 16.4 and Takagi is 15.4 as far as I remember. And that was on purpose. I wanted to see which one I really preferred. Like I already had Kondo fully maxed, because that was the commander that most fits my playstyle. But then I decided to throw a lot of extra resources into Takagi to actually make up my mind about which of them are the best. And I still think Kondo is the best. He fits my playstyle. He allows me to get in, well, closer, and he allows me to have a very fast reload and lots of heals, which I prefer over an extra 2 kilometers range and a little bit more AP damage. I tend to get better results with Kondo anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you out there.